Welcome into the lounge presented by DraftKings. I'm Garrett Downing, joined by Clifton Brown, and today we are so excited to be joined by the Ravens' new defensive coordinator, friend of the program, longtime friend of this organization, Anthony Weaver. Congratulations. Welcome back.
Man, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I still can't believe it. I got to pinch myself, make sure it's all real.
Well, what does it mean to you? Obviously, you grew up in this organization, player, coach, and you're back here as the DC. What does that mean?
Oh, man, it means everything to me, right? Just one, like this place it's kind of my football family first and foremost, right? I have so many relationships here. Like I was such a young buck when I got here. And then when I think about the guys that have held this position before me, right? Go back to Marvin Lewis, Mike Nolan, Rex Ryan, right? Wink Martindale, Dean Pease, like Mike McDonald.
Right.
And I mean, there's just so many coaches that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. And to have that same title just means so much to me. And I know the weight it carries, and just excited to get to work.
We were walking down here from your office. We got stopped, I don't know, Cliff, we probably got stopped 10 different times with people who were so excited to have Weave back in the building. Did it mean more for you to come back here and come back home to that extent?
Without question. It's one of those things where, you go to another team, you're going to work incredibly hard. You're going to have just pride in your work. Here, it's different. It's more than that. Like there's a transcending feeling because I know I'm not just working for the team and for the players, but I'm working for their families who I know, right? The wives, girlfriends, like their kids, and I don't want to let them down. So yeah, it absolutely means more.
This coaching carousel was pretty wild this year. 10 openings. Your name was being mentioned immediately as one of the guys who might get a job. Just curious, you've been through the coaching carousel before, but how did you navigate that this year? And is there anything you learned along the process that maybe was a little different this time?
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed for 5 of the 10 jobs. And as you guys can imagine, like after a taxing season, there is nothing easy about that. But I thought I'd put my best foot forward. If I learned anything, I'm actually just grateful. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the experience. And if I'm blessed one day to hold that role, then shoot, I'm gonna jump at it and I'm gonna do the best job I absolutely can. But I'm on divine timing, man. I don't question the plan. I just trust in it and look where I'm at. Right. So I have complete faith that I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Okay, that's a great attitude. I was thought somebody was going to be smart enough.
Yeah.
You said, I just be honest. Like, so when that didn't happen, did you pivot immediately to thinking about coming here, or kind of take me through that process?
So I actually had talked to Jess a little bit prior to the last hiring that happened. So thought this was potentially an opportunity. Just didn't know how everything was going to shake out. So it was one of those things where, was I disappointed when I didn't get a job? Of course. I think that's natural, but I certainly wasn't defeated, and I would hardly call this a consolation prize, right? So it was one of those things where, you're a little bit disappointed really because you thought you did your absolute best, and I think I'm deserving of a job, which is, I think is fine. But to be here, it was certainly not a sad moment, right? It was disappointed, not defeated, and then we were celebrating this. So it's been pretty cool.
So you spent the last 2 seasons in Miami as a defensive coordinator there. What was that experience like for you, and what did you take away from going to a new place, new city, new coaching staff, all that, and to go there and have your opportunity there as a defensive coordinator again, and what did you take away from that?
Yeah, it was unique, right? It was unique in the fact that I had to leave here, right, and had a system of defense that I wanted to run, and really wasn't able to bring anybody with me, right? So I had to teach all the coaches and then start to teach the players all the scheme. And what I realized is, like, hey, football's football, right? It doesn't matter if you're in Miami, you're in Baltimore. If you're talking about the right things, block destruction, effort, tackling, you're going to play good defense. That first year in particular, I thought we played outstanding. This year, I thought we had a little bit growing pains early. Started to play better throughout the year, but I have the utmost faith in my ability to do the job and to teach people and to be a uniter, and I know we can get that done here.
What's the value in getting that experience? Like, you go down there and you were running the defense, and like you got to build it. I don't know if maybe from scratch, you know, to a certain extent, you're bringing in your system, your identity, and you're running the show on that defense.
Yeah.
What's the value in that, and how do you bring that experience with you here to this group?
Yeah, I had a tremendous amount of confidence that I was going to be able to go there and do the job. I'd coordinated in 2020, and to me, that was a much more challenging situation than this ever was, because there I was still coaching defensive line, and you're navigating COVID, right? a worldwide pandemic.
Right.
So I knew after I got through that whenever I got my next coordinating job, I was like, oh, that's going to be easy. And to be honest, it kind of felt that way, right? Yeah. We were able to meet in person. We didn't lose the spring and half a training camp. So I expected to go there and do well.
And this time you're going to be collaborating with Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse says he's calling the defensive plays. So you've had a lot of different, combinations, worked with a lot of different guys.
Yeah.
It's still early, but how do you envision you and Jesse, that collaboration working? A guy who obviously you already know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I come into this with no ego, and I know Jesse's the same way. All of us are just committed to one thing, and that's winning. So whenever you have that and you get a bunch of people pulling the rope in the right direction, like you're gonna find a way. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to pick his brain and talk defensive X's and O's and player skill sets and all those things. And I truly believe that the combination of us both, plus the staff that we've assembled, is going to be pretty awesome.
So you're known as just a great guy. A lot of, I talked about walking down the hall and everyone, business side, football side, is excited to see you. But you also have this nasty edge to you. You had this quote in Miami during a press conference. You know what I'm talking about. You know the quote I'm talking about.
Viral.
Yeah, viral quote talking about how all of our problems can be solved with violence on the football field.
Like, I'm old school. I may sit up here, I'm a nice guy, I smile, I do all those things, but all of our problems that we need to solve can be solved through violence. Yeah, they want to legislate it out of the game, but we play defensive football. And in defensive football, at some point, you draw a line in the sand and you say, I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to stick my helmet under this guy's chin, and I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to violently take the ball away. And that's what we need to do. With a steely-eyed focus, with resolve, with resiliency, and we're going to stop people.
Talk to me about that aspect of you and your defensive identity.
Yeah, I tell guys all the time, like, off the field, be a man, be accountable, be dependable, be somebody that should be trusted, all those things. And on the field, you want to carry that with you, but there also has to be a switch, right? It is football. It is you're a modern day gladiator. So at some point when you cross those white lines, like something has to switch, and you got to play through the echo of the whistle, and you're trying to move another grown man off a spot, right? And trying to essentially like take money out of their pocket. If you're going to do that in this game, the best way to do it is to violently do it. If you want to take the ball away, like nobody's going to hand you the ball, right? I'm going to have to take that ball away. And that's all I was trying to convey in that particular moment, that we needed to play with a different edge than we were playing with at that particular point.
That's one that everyone will remember that quote. That clip, everyone remembers that one, no doubt.
That's right. I'm just, to me now, you're at the stage where, especially guys this generation, they know you as a coach.
Yeah.
Older cats like myself remember both.
Yeah.
When did the switch flip for you as far as like, hey, this is something I might really want to do, be a coach? Because some ex-players just are like, no, I'm never coaching.
Yeah.
You obviously chose another path. What was it for you, and how did that happen?
I got to be honest. For a lot of my playing career, I felt that way, where I'm never doing that. Right? I was around Rex and Mike Patton, and knowing that they were sleeping in the office and putting in all these hours. And for the majority of my career, I just had incredible coaches. Right? Charlie Strong, Greg Madison, Rex Ryan, right? Clarence Brooks, and then I just went through a phase of my career where I didn't quite have that. And at that particular point, I was like, all right, like, there were some younger players at that particular time who I didn't feel like getting the teaching necessary for them to succeed. And I was like, I need to do that to make sure I never see that happen again. So for me, it was a lot of just paying it forward back to the game that has been such a blessing to me, to ensure that guys maximize their God-given ability. And I thought I could deliver that for players.
something that Cliff and I just had this conversation on recently coming out of the Super Bowl. Seattle wins. Mike's got this great defense there. And there's this notion for a long time that the league has moved offensive focus. Mm-hmm. It's an offensive league. It's a quarterback-driven league. It's points. The rules are tilted towards the offense. Mm-hmm. And it feels to me like it's kind of shifting. The pendulum is swinging the other direction a little bit. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Seattle's defense, Philly's defense last year when they won the Super Bowl. Do you see it that way? Like, what is your big picture view of that, in my perception, change that's undergoing in the NFL where defense is starting to be in vogue again?
Yeah. You know, so much of this game is about adapting and evolving, right? And it's very cyclical. So you're going to go through times where, the offense is going to look like they're ahead of the defense and they're putting up points, and then defensive coaches and everybody's smart, right? We're not here for a bunch of hours just hanging out, having a good time, right? We're always trying to find solutions to problems, right? So that what'll happen now is like the defense will get an edge, and then what's going to happen? Offense is going to say, oh, well, defense is in a bunch of split safety shell. We're going to get bigger personnel groups, and we're going to run the ball downhill to try to force you out of it, right? There's always an ebb and flow to offense and defense. So, man, I hope this defensive surge lasts for a long time because I'm a defensive guy by nature. There's so many guys that thought that Super Bowl was boring. I did not. I was loving all of it.
That's a Raven mentality.
Right. That's right. I was curious, too. We coming back to the Ravens. Now, you're going to be going in practice against Lamar every day. Every team that plays the Ravens, they're trying to figure out how to stop Lamar.
Yeah.
How much does that really help a defense to have to be challenged by Lamar every day? And how do you have any ideas sometimes you might be able to bring to Jesse about, hey, this is what we tried to do. This is how we should counter that.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody stops Lamar, right? You just try to contain him as much as possible. As it pertains to us improving because of him, absolutely. Right, I think whenever you're practicing, you want to go against the best so you can be at your best. And who better to practice against than the two should be 3-time MVP of the National Football League. So extremely excited that I'm on the same sideline as him now because I saw him throw for 4 touchdowns against us last year when I was in Miami. So really excited to be with him again.
Yeah. So something a focal point for this team going into this year is going to be those fourth quarter leads. Mm-hmm. That's been something that's been talked about here in the coaching change, and there's just too many blown leads the past couple of years. How big of a focal point is that, and what can you do? What can you do to try to avoid that?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you're going to address it and you're going to talk about it, but the only way you're going to fix it is just through repeated everyday action, right? And we just got to make sure we finish. And I think as long as we're doing that, right, and we're going in mindset, we're going to finish every meeting, every rep at practice, eventually that just becomes who you are, and you'll carry that in those games. And then from a situational standpoint, we'll be so locked in what we need to get done at those particular points in the game that it'll become habitual. And when we're in it, we won't feel that pressure. We won't rise to the occasion. We're just going to be what we are, which will be plenty good enough.
One thing that could certainly help in that regard is being able to affect the quarterback.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about that a lot. And when you were here previously, you had some defensive fronts that could get after the quarterback, and that was really a calling card. How do you go about trying to manufacture that? Of course, look, everybody would love to have a Miles Garrett type outside linebacker guy that could get after the quarterback. But how do you go about trying to manufacture a defense holistically that can get after the passer?
Yeah, well, first, I believe in the guys we have.
Yeah.
Right. If one-on-one situations are presented, I know we have the guys with a skill set to go out there and win. 2, I think schematically, you're always trying to attack protections and manipulate space, right? And I've always thought that was one of the things that I see and can do well. So I think the combination of those 2 things, and then some of the ideas that I know that this staff is going to bring, just because of the intellect that we have, we're absolutely going to be to affect the quarterbacks. Because ultimately, that's what you have to do in this league. They're all too good. They're protected by the rules a little bit. All right, so you have to make sure that you can get after the quarterback, whether that's with a sim pressure or pressure, but most of the time with your 4-man rush.
Ravens obviously have invested a lot in the back end of that defense. Kyle, one of the best players in the league. Malachi Starks, first-round pick.
Yep.
Just thoughts about how you can maximize some of the pieces in the secondary, because obviously whether you're getting pressure or not, those guys, preventing big plays. How you feel like you can really
man.
utilize that unit?
Feel really good about it, right? Nate Wiggins,
Right.
The Teddy Buchanan kid at will. Trent Simpson, I thought, played well. And the thing about all those guys, particularly when we're talking about those two safeties right now, like they're so smart from a football intelligence standpoint, and you can do so many different jobs with them. And I think we have a lot of those guys, right? We have some guys with tremendous football IQ, which if you're just job changing, right, and changing bodies, sometimes for offense you can present the illusion of complexity, where it's not a lot of work for us, but it looks different to them. And just that little bit of being able to manipulate people and move people around prevents enough angst for offenses. So some low cost, work for us, but because of those guys and how smart they are as football players, we can do some pretty dynamic things.
What about taking the ball away?
Got to do it. It's critical for every football game. So to me, that starts day one, and it's something you're emphasizing every rep, right? If there's a strip opportunity, whether it's from a defensive lineman or a second level player, when you're going in to make a tackle, whether it's a tackling period or not, you should have a ball mentality where I'm gonna strike, rip, rake, do whatever we can at all times to try to take the ball away. And obviously, if it's in the air, with our talent at DB, we expect that ball to belong to us.
Mm-hmm. Last one for me is just when you knowing the knowledge that you have of this team, this program, what it means to play like a Raven, all the things that are kind of foundational to this organization. Yeah. How do you want this team? What do you want this team, this defense, to be known for when you guys take the field this year?
Oh man, so I'm going to age myself a little bit. Okay, here. But you guys remember the mid '90s Nolan Richardson Arkansas basketball teams, right? 45 minutes of hell.
Yes.
I want our guys when they finish the game, it'd be 60 minutes of hell. Like when you played us, you're gonna know like you left the fight, and we're gonna try to hit everything moving, fly around, play connected, play together, and just do all we can to make sure that you played in the game that was 60 minutes of hell.
That's awesome. I'm fired up just for that.
Exactly.
I'm fired up from that.
Exactly. Get a helmet, man.
Exactly. I'm ready to run through that wall. Well, hey, man, we really are so excited to have you back here. I think that it's just a great fit, and we're fired up to continue working with you and seeing what you can do for this defense.
Thanks, G. I appreciate. Now, again, I would have dressed better if I knew I was going to be with the Hall of Famer. Nobody told me. Nobody told me I was going to be with the Hall of Famer today.
I know. He thought it was just with me. I surprised him with Cliff when he got down. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Welcome back into the Lounge Podcast. We are coming to you from the SeatGeek studio. We also want to mention our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are an official sports betting partner of the Baltimore Ravens. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Well, big thanks to Anthony Weaver. He's, as you can see, I mean, it's a home run hire. He's a great guy. I have a ton of respect for him. But, I feel like we often lead with the great guy label and sell short the football mind, the attitude, all of that stuff. Yes, he's a great guy, as we talked about, as you can see. But man, he knows football. He's going to have this defense playing at a high level. He's got a ton of really valuable experience, and I just think it's a home run hire for the Ravens to get him as a defensive coordinator.
Agreed. I mean, Weaver, he oozes with charisma, and he just has the presence that you want from a guy who's leading the room. He, to me, is like a player who keeps getting better. Weaver, to me, I mean, he's already a great coach. I expected him to get a head coaching job. I think it will happen for him at some point. But for the Ravens to be able to bring him back at this point of his career as a defensive coordinator, working with Jesse Minter, another proven defensive coordinator, that speaks so much volumes for how good the Ravens defense can be with those two guys at the helm working together. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, so yes, for the Ravens to have Anthony Weaver back in the building at this point is just a tremendous thing.
Well, the Ravens started the process of looking for a head coach, and they're doing all the interviews, they're talking to 20 candidates, and when you get down to the finalist stage, if you knew that you could have two of your finalists basically still on staff,
right?
Like I I would have been thrilled with Anthony Weaver as head coach. He'd be a great head coach. Jesse Minter, great head coach. It's like, and you got both of them.
Right.
And that's the crazy part, is that you're able to get both of these guys who are both really talented coaches who know defense as well as anybody in the league.
Right.
They bring authority, innovation, mindset. Like, I just think that for all those reasons, it's just something that Ravens fans should be really excited about.
Right. And, Jesse Minter, first-year head coach, he says he's going to be calling the defensive plays, but he have a lot on his plate during the week. He has a lot on his plate 7 days a week. To have someone like Anthony Weaver who can run the defense at practice, who can weigh in heavily on the defensive game plan, is such a help to have someone like that on your staff, so that on Sunday, as the play caller, so much of the heavy lifting can be done by Anthony Weaver. So however they want to collaborate, they'll figure out the best way. But when you have, as a first-year coach, you look down the hall, or he comes into the room, or you're in a meeting with Anthony Weaver, to me, that has to be a huge help to you as a first-time head coach.
Yeah, totally agree. So couldn't be more excited to have him here in Baltimore. Great to catch up with him. As always, you can email us at thelounge@ravens.nfl.net. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will be back with you again soon.